The purpose of the Jewish people is to make the world a holy place. We have to make ourselves holy, and we have to help the world to become a holy place, which is a very difficult mission, but fortunately we have our senior partner, which is HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Kadosh Baruch Hu natan lanu mitzvah, a commandment to build the temple, which is the center of holiness for the Jewish people. In our generation, we hope we can achieve that, but at the very, very least, we have to get used to going up to the Temple Mount, where even though there are many voices that have said in the past that it's forbidden, that was said not because it's forbidden to go up to Har HaBayit, because they were afraid that perhaps people would go up to Har HaBayit, not to the proper places, not going in as pure after having gone to a mikveh for purity. But we know today where we're allowed to go. We know how to go into Har HaBayit. So it's very important that the Jewish people start reconnecting to this place. So eventually, once the Jewish people are coming back to the Temple Mount in large numbers, like they are now to the Kotel, and to the Kotel there's maybe 10 million Jews that come every year to the Kotel. If 1% of that number of Jews would be coming to the Temple Mount, the situation would be different. Hopefully in the nearest future we'll be able to even build a synagogue there if we're not yet able to build a temple. But by the Jews coming back and wanting to be there and realizing this is our holy place, we will change the reality on the Temple Mount. The Temple Mount today is about 3 times the size as it was in the time of King Solomon. And the actual sanctified part of the Temple Mount is in the center, mostly in the raised area and partly also south of that, where we see the Al-Aqsa Mosque, and to the south is not the holy part of the Temple Mount, nor is the north side, but the center area, where we see the gold domed building, which is in Hebrew called the Kippat HaSela. That is where the Holy of Holies was in the time of the temple. From that point and to the east is where the temple stood. When you first come in, when you see those crown stones on the right-hand side, those were most likely the heads of pillars that were in the time of the Second Temple. When you start walking around in a counterclockwise direction, you come to the east side of the raised area, and that is most likely the dividing line between what was called the Ezrat Yisrael to the Ezrat Nashim. And apparently there are actually, underneath that existing wall is an ancient wall which gives further credence to that was the dividing line. There's also a small dome. If you look on the Temple Mount, there's a small kind of silver black dome next to the large gold dome, and that most likely is more or less the site of where the altar was, where we offered our sacrifices.